Alright guys, welcome to the Rise Up Network. Again, this is Lee and he's Nick, and we're going to be talking about free agency this week. So to start us off, I'm pretty psyched. We had a good offense last year. Now we have a great offense. I mean, it's stepped up, and of course you know who we're talking about. We have Steven Jackson, and yes, he's a little bit older and stuff, but he's ran for 1,000 yards in the last 8 seasons, I believe.
Yep.
And so anyway, and we got him at a pretty fair price, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's 3-year, $12 million with 4 guaranteed, and none of the money is going to be guaranteed after the first season. So if he does decline or go downhill, then it'll be easy for us to release him and move on, you know, after this year.
Yeah, and what's awesome is he's coming and he's looking for a championship, and I know he's hungry for that. He didn't have any of that in the Rams. He only went to the playoffs one time with the Rams, and so he's looking for a championship, and I think he's hungry. I think he's a perfect fit for Atlanta. I kind of think what we're doing and what teams are seeing and stuff is like the Patriots. Players used to go to the Patriots just to win a championship, and I think people have a lot of faith in our team and stuff, and are coming at a cheaper price. And you know, for us, it's great because we have. I mean, the offense is just going to be dynamic. You still have to remember Steven Jackson's #1, Jacquizz Rodgers, who I was fine with using this year. Like that being the #1 guy, but you know, we're still going to use Jacquizz Rodgers. Steven Jackson catch the balls out of the backfield. We have Snelling backing all them up, and
not to mention that Steven has known Jacquizz a good bit of his life since he was a teenager, since they both went to the same college, and that's going to be really influential to Jacquizz, I think, to be able to study under Steven, a guy that he knows and probably looks up to a lot, learn a lot of the little things that he does that makes him such a great back.
Yeah, and one of the places that we struggled with so bad last year, it seemed like, was that, you know, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, the stuff on the goal line and stuff, it just wasn't getting done. I just don't see that being a problem. I think we can feel confident handing the ball off 3 times, and no matter what, Jackson's going to get in.
Yeah, the thing about Steven is he can get a yard, 2 yards, 3 yards after contact. I think he had 2.7 after contact last year, and that's a good number. And you know, when it gets down to that 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, you know, we're going to be able to hand the ball off to Steven and pick it up, and it's going to greatly improve our offense.
Yeah, obviously, and then the passing game will open up even more than it did last year. And you know, with Steven, I think maybe we only have to give him 15 carries at the most and really keep him, you know, for the playoffs and stuff. I mean, we want him fresh in the playoffs, and you know, even with 15 carries, I mean, we are a pass-first offense and stuff, but now, you know, at any time when we hand the ball off to either one of those guys and stuff, I mean, Steven Jackson, I feel, still has the speed to take it to the house and not get caught from behind.
I think it's going to improve the no-huddle offense a lot now, too, because when Turner was in the game, it was pretty much a good guess or indication that it was most likely going to be run, or if he was lined up in the backfield or in shotgun, you know, you didn't have to account for him in the passing game, where Steven Jackson you're going to have to account for. He can run the no-huddle now, leave Steven on the field, and go either run or pass out of any formation, because Steven can pick up blocks, he can catch out of the backfield, and he's a downhill runner.
Yeah, and moving right along, we were able to keep Tony Gonzalez. Everybody was asking for it and begging for it, and Tony Gonzalez is coming back. And they fudged his numbers. I'll let you go into that more and stuff with the contracts, but
it's basically a 2-year deal. He's going to play 1, but Thomas wanted to move some of the cap around, so he's going to put some of the cap hit on next year's salary instead of this year, so that we're able to sign some more people, hopefully.
Yeah, so Tony Gonzalez being back is obviously huge. I think he had like 930 yards last year receiving. You know, and he's great in the red zone and stuff. He's one of our #1 targets for, you know, Matt Ryan in the red zone.
Now, instead of 1st and 5 or 1st and 10 from the goal line, 1st and goal, now you don't have to worry about, we have to get the ball to Tony Gonzalez on 1st down because we've only got 3 chances, because we were having so much trouble getting that 1 yard in the running game. Now you got Steven Jackson, so now they can't just focus on Tony Gonzalez, who was our go-to guy in the red zone. it's going to be spread out a lot. You're going to see a lot of people scoring touchdowns in the red zone this year.
Yeah, so well, in free agency, we haven't made a ton of moves, but I was reading a report today on the top 10 free agent signings. Number 6 was Steven Jackson, and then they said number 2 was Tony Gonzalez. So it looks like the moves that we have made are great moves. We also were able to keep Sam Baker, and he has a 6-year deal. He's going to be with us a lot longer. I think just to keep the offensive line intact as much as possible is a good thing. We unfortunately lost Todd McClure. I was kind of hoping we'd get him back for one more year, but he announced his retirement. So keeping Sam Baker and stuff and keeping as many familiar faces on that offensive line, I think, is important.
Well, with Sam, I think he had his best year last year. Without a doubt, it was definitely improved from the year before. So he's definitely looking better than he was before his contract was up. So I'm happy with the deal. I think he played most of the year above average for starting left tackle, and maybe he continues to progress this year. I'd like to see it. I know they still have Lamar Holmes. They signed a draft pick last year, and I'm anxious to see what they're doing with him. Is he going to stay at left tackle to back up Sam, or is he going to compete for a starting position? Sam going to have to move inside. It's going to be fun to see what happens the next 2 years.
Yeah. So we lost Will Svitek to the Patriots, and we also lost Vance Walker to the Raiders. I'm not sure if they're going to make any more cuts and stuff. I mean, I think we have a little bit of cap space still. And, the big glaring hole is kind of in the secondary. Not a huge hole, but we don't have Dante Robinson. We lost John Abraham, and we lost Michael Turner. Dante Robinson had a pretty decent year last year, and obviously we have Brent Grimes. And right now, as it stands, Miami, he's visited Miami. He didn't leave with a contract. He visited Cleveland, and Tampa Bay is also interested in him and stuff. But from the things that I'm reading, it seems like, and who's to say, but it seems like a lot of people still project that he's going to end up in Atlanta and stuff. And I think,
it makes the most sense. He's visited, with a couple of teams now, so I think he's felt what his price is worth on the market, and I think it's just up to him and the Falcons to come together and decide whether they're both willing to accept what the other is willing to give up.
Gotcha, yeah. I feel great about our offense right now. And on the defense, we're missing, John Abraham was our sack leader last year, so we don't have him right now.
But he's unsigned, so that the window's still there to come back. I mean, we did this last year where we cut him, and he tested the market, and we came back and said we were willing to pay that market price. It can happen again. He could come back at a reduced rate and a reduced role. That doesn't necessarily mean that if he comes back that we won't pick defensive end first in the draft or still sign somebody. He may come back as just strictly the third down rush from the edge.
Yeah. So I feel great about the team moving forward. Especially if we can sign Grimes, I'd love to have a veteran there on the other side of Asante Samuel and stuff. You can still draft a cornerback and stuff. It's a deep draft. There is some good cornerbacks out there, and we still got McLean, who's going to be playing the slot.
Hopefully,
but so we have some guys there, but I'd like to get Grimes back. He's just not going to make the same amount of money that he did the year previously, coming off that injury and stuff. But if they sign him to a 1-year deal and he has a great year, then the next year he can get a big contract again probably and stuff. But he is in his 30s now, so he's going to have a good year. As far as leading into the draft and stuff, I know we're going to probably go almost all defense. It looks like.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
It can go either way. With the signing of Jackson and getting Tony back, it's hard to guess that they would go offense because now you've just put those two pieces in. So it's kind of a win now. Steven obviously came to win a championship, and Tony is playing one more year to win a championship. So it's either win it this year for Tony or he's done. So you want to take advantage of having Tony on the team. So I don't see how it would be, a good move to go offense first in the draft, especially with so many glaring needs on defense and with your offense set with Steven Jackson. So it's looking more like we're going to get some sort of rush specialist, pass rush specialist, whether it's from the linebacker or the defensive line. So we're we're going to pick somebody in that region. We've got to get a pass rush.
Yeah, that's that was our biggest hole last year, just all around and stuff, was the pass rush and stuff. And our secondary actually did a pretty good job. And just to piggyback on that, we did also sign William Moore. So our safety play should be top notch next year. We have William Moore, Thomas Akou, who played good all year, and he played injured. And then if we can just grab Brent Grimes back, we have a great secondary. And then if we could just get pass rush, then and we could. There's a very possible that we could get a good guy and have him start. But then we also have Massaquoi, and I think that Atlanta feels pretty good about Massaquoi and stuff.
Well, they drafted him to play defensive end, and they've always wanted to build through the draft, and it's time for these guys to step up if they want to get the contracts and be the big stars at defensive end. It's time for them to show us what they have in them.
Yeah. So I feel great about the team. I'm excited and stuff. And the next big news hopefully will be that we sign Grimes, and then we'll start looking towards the draft. And we'll do another blog in April, probably before the draft, and we'll do one after the draft and stuff, and talk about our reactions to it and stuff. But it's exciting. It's exciting what we've done already. I really didn't expect a Steven Jackson signing. I thought we were going to do more through the draft, but it just shows that we are definitely dedicated to getting to the Super Bowl at all costs. I mean, they made some pretty savvy moves and stuff, so it should be really exciting to see what we have going on next year. But make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's the Rise Up Network, and then also follow us on Facebook. It's Rise Up ATL. And just post some comments under the videos and stuff, and we'll chat back with you. The Facebook page, anything that happens, we're posting things on there to keep people up to date with what's going on. And make sure you definitely subscribe to the YouTube page. That's real important to us, and share it with all your friends. And again, the YouTube page is the Rise Up Network, and follow us on Facebook, Rise Up ATL. And thanks for coming.